I wanted us to record like a bit before the music.
Okay.
Because the theme of our episode is Saturday Night Live, and they always do the first sketch before the opening music.
Okay.
At the end of the sketch, they always go live from New York or London, in our case. It's Saturday Night Live, but we're not live, and we're not in New York or London.
Not Saturday Night Live.
We go out on a Friday.
Yeah.
And so there were lots of reasons that we're not going to it, but I thought I might pass the honour of our opening over to our dog co-host. I'm hoping that she might make a noise.
This is the one time in her life where she's just been silent.
All right. Roll the music.
Welcome to Animal Nonsense. I'm Jess.
I'm David. You and I went to a recording of Saturday Night Live, and the host was Aimee Lou Wood. It was recorded at BBC Television Centre. Do you remember what you said to me right before it started?
I said, wouldn't it be amazing if there was an animal on Saturday Night Live? And you said to me, it would be good, but it never happens.
It really is an unheard of event. There have been 1,008 episodes of the American Saturday Night Live, 8 of the UK Saturday Night Live, and we saw the only episode to ever feature a dog in the monologue. It was as though they'd made the whole show for us.
I know. You and I looked at each other just aghast. We were so excited.
Today's episode is all about Saturday Night Live.
Yay.
This is what we needed you to do a moment ago. Saturday Night Live is well known for its impersonations.
Yes.
Do you remember the impressions I've done on the podcast so far?
I remember your Jason Statham.
There was a shock over there. I didn't know I do impressions. And then when I looked through, I keep a log where I write down what's in every episode. Loads of them.
Really?
I've done Scooby-Doo. I don't know, sausages. I've done Bob Geldof.
Yeah, I remember the book.
The book's already signed. But now I have a new impersonations for you.
Okay.
I'm going to do Ant and Dec. Might you need to explain who Ant and Dec are?
Ant and Dec are a Scouse duo. No, not Scouse. Newcastle, aren't they? TV presenters.
Yeah, they do lots of like big Saturday night variety programs. You and I know when we are coming up with podcast ideas, sometimes I throw something out and it hits the wall and it doesn't go anywhere, but I edit it out. Ant and Dec have begun a podcast that I'm going to impersonate for you now. Why, I hope you don't mind we're seeing, but me chair's right uncomfortable like. Right, and now Dec, he responds to what's just been said, but in question form. All right, so now I'm going to do Ant again and we're going to have Dec's response. Why, I hope you don't mind we're seeing, but me chair's right uncomfortable, like. Why are you seeing your chair's right uncomfortable, Ant? I am, why, Dec. So now he's nowhere. Mentally, he doesn't really know where to go next with this idea.
Yeah.
Why, can you remember a chair in the past you've sat on that you liked better, Ant? And then Ant goes, no, not as I remember. And that remained in. I listened to it and I was like, no one's edited out the chair bit.
I wonder if listeners from other parts of the world are just listening to this thinking, what the are they talking about?
What animal do you think would be the best Saturday Night Live host?
A parrot.
I thought about a ladybird. Well, if you're going to have an insect, they're probably the most glamorous.
Yeah, actually they are. They are
and
I don't know, a butterfly is maybe a bit more glamorous, do you not think?
Oh, I think I was thinking of things that crawl.
Right, okay.
I'm going to name a real animal that we might imagine as the host of Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And if you were selling advertising on that episode, what products might you reach out for?
Okay.
An octopus.
Gloves.
A lion.
Shampoo and conditioner.
A polar bear.
Oh, a heated blanket.
A shark.
Teeth whitening. You're so excited you said it.
What real animal do you think would be the worst?
Probably a fish.
On the recording date, 1 or 2 incidents occurred. You and I went to watch Saturday Night Live UK. On the day, you were not feeling well.
I almost had to bail because I was coming out of a 3-day migraine, but I pushed through.
To keep up your strength, you had put hula hoops in your bag. Might you need to let people know what hula hoops are?
Oh, a type of crisp, a little puffed wheat little circle. When I was a kid, I used to put a hula hoop on each finger and
eat them off. On the way in, the security man asked you, what is the reason for these hula hoops?
To clarify, because when I have a migraine, I feel really nauseous and I can't eat a meal. But then I also feel horrible if I don't have something in my system. So I need to just regularly pick at stuff. You don't want to eat, but you can't not have anything in your stomach.
And you were really brave. You went all the way to London on that day and you made it.
We'd had to sit in the park for about an hour and a half beforehand, hadn't we? Just to build ourselves up to get in the queue, just lying under a bush in the shade looking at the birds.
We got into the queue. The man on security asked, what is the reason for these hula hoops? And a look went over your face on realising they might soon remove your hula hoops. And I can only describe it as being reminiscent of how I imagined Baby Bear looked when he learnt Goldilocks had eaten his porridge. You really looked disheartened.
I nearly cried. You know when you're just feeling so vulnerable anyway.
It was not the last time that your hula hoops were at risk.
No, well, when he asked me, I almost cried and I sounded like such I said the words. I just have really low blood sugar.
All of my sort of impulse was like, no, I must look after these hula hoops for you now. And it wasn't the last time they were at risk.
No, I know.
Before we made our way into the main studio, I was alarmed because they were
doing another bag.
And I said, look, let me put your hula hoops in my pocket because, and I hope this isn't breaching security protocol, but they were looking in bags but not in pockets. And I thought well, a man's pocket, they're not likely to be looking into. And it did work. And so now the hula hoops were safely hidden throughout the recording in my pocket. You and I arrived in our seats. And the live band...
I know exactly where you're going with this.
And the live band were rolling. It was really exciting.
It was wonderful,
A black cloth rolled down from the ceiling that almost totally blocked our view.
You could see ankles, couldn't you? That was it. Okay.
And at that point in the production, I would like to say that the audience, admittance lady, a complaint was made, she raised it and the cloth was moved.
Yeah, because it wasn't like it was just our seats. It was literally half the auditorium.
This lady solved the problem and
yeah.
It got an enormous cheer. I think some of the American production staff didn't understand why the biggest cheer of the night went to a curtain being raised. I thought for us to remember that moment where we could only see the legs of the people on stage for a period of time, I'm going to show you some photos of animal legs. And I would like you to look at the animal's legs. Their top half has been removed.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me what you think it is and describe the leg for me.
The legs almost look like the legs of... Do you know what? I'm going to go really left field with this. Is this a very blown up photo of a spider's feet or something like that?
It is a mountain alpaca. I mean, it has very sturdy toes and furry feet. On to the next one.
Grey, scaly, looks like 3 toes, if you will. I'm going to go with a rhino.
You're 100% right. It is a rhino. A rhino's legs and feet are unexpectedly dainty.
Got quite thin ankles.
Their bodies are 15 feet long and they weigh around 5,000 pounds. But their legs are rather small to hold that weight. Have you ever took your shoes to be re-heeled? And the moment before you do, you look at the old shoe heel and you learn about how you walk.
Yeah, if it's worn down more on one side,
A rhino puts more pressure on their instep and no one knows why. There is no advantage to speak of. It's been really researched and no one has been able to come up with an answer for that. Yeah. All right, I've got one more of these.
Okay, so it looks... There's bony claws, but it also looks... But then it's got like a much larger kind of webbed... So if it's webbed, I'm guessing it's something that swims. I'm going to go for a platypus.
It is a venomous platypus.
Oh.
The male platypus has webbed feet and also pointy spurs loaded with venom. They kick their competition off. At one point on the Saturday Night Live recording day, I fell over an almost non-existent step.
Yes, you did.
In honour of that moment, I wondered if clumsiness played a role in the animal world. Penguins are really graceful underwater, but do all of their courting on land, where they have a rather uneasy waddle.
Yeah.
But there is reasonable evidence that male penguins do this with romantic intentions. Like they put it on a bit thick.
Oh, right, okay.
And if you've ever seen like a male penguin do like a slip and slide on the ice, or drop a pebble or do a silly dance they're wooing their mate.
Are they? Well, there's a lot to be said for having a good sense of humour. Well, I find it very attractive.
And they are romantically proving they're not threatening, which is an admirable quality to a female penguin, making him a good romantic bet. All right, the next one. The moose. The moose is almost 6 feet 5 inches tall at the shoulder, and on observation are noticed regularly tripping over. The reason for this is they must navigate a lot of different terrains over the course of their life, including wading through lakes, going through forests, snows, and they do have a reasonably large bulk. Their hooves are almost like Swiss Army knives to help them adapt to every scenario, but they only help so much. So, you know, a Swiss Army knife, you've got like the corkscrew and the little pair of scissors and all this. But you need to, if you're going to use one, you need to put the previous one you've been using back in. Yeah. If you've got them all out, disaster ensues. That's a bit like a moose's hoof. And so it's got all of the gear out all the time for whatever terrain it's on. And sometimes it does not render it adaptable enough. The cat. Although cats are graceful, have you ever watched a cat misjudge a leap?
Absolutely, yeah.
It is one of the rare moments in nature where two opposing personality traits lead to an identical result. So a cat might misjudge a leap because they're cautious and they do not leap far enough.
Yeah.
Or they might be too ambitious and go too far.
Overshoot, yeah.
And not leave room for composure. Both serve a really important role in encouraging the cat to use their recovery impulse, which might rescue their life later on. And so
them always landing on their paws because they manage to flip around in the air, don't they?
Is really helpful because if they're ever in an intimidating scenario, they rehearse it. And so whether it's conscious or unconscious, we don't really know. But that idea of jumping and not quite reaching it or going too far,
deliberately hitting the deck so that
it helps them learn how to recover when they land, which ends up rescuing their life. One thing I ought to raise, so Saturday Night Live has had other real dogs. Now, we saw the only dog that was in a monologue. Yeah. But there have been sketches featuring dogs. There's been an abrupt upturn the last 2 years, and I have a reasonable idea as to how it might have happened, although it's not been corroborated. There was Dog Head Man, a man with a human body but the head of a dog. So they put a dog behind a desk that was cut out, and then human hands popped up.
That's funny.
Sydney Sweeney was a cheerleader talking to the new basketball player on the team who happened to be a dog.
Lovely, yeah.
And on the 50th anniversary special, Julie Louis-Dreyfus was there with the dog she was using to talk to Adam Driver. I'm going to show you photos of those last 3 scenes that have occurred in the last couple of years.
Yeah, okay.
It's the same dog, right?
Well, it's the same breed of dog. I don't know if it's the same
I reckon it's
dog.
a producer's dog.
Do you think?
I reckon he's like, hey, if you writers are out of ideas, look, everyone loves a dog. That's all I'm saying. There's been 3 in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And the ratio prior to that, there was one about every 7 years.
Maybe he's like one of these pushy stage parents that's like
that's what I'm reckoning.
Momager.
He's got to be someone high up.
Yeah.
Because if he was like an intern, they're not going to keep putting the dog on. It must be like, hey, I'm the new executive producer. Hey, look at my dog. And now he's really pushed it and he's got it on.
I bet this dog is like the most pampered pooch ever as well.